can, because, okay, do we have sound on Facebook? Yes, we can hear? Okay, yay, finally! Okay, so we've got a microphone, we've got a webcam, just doing things a little bit different, just to try and improve the quality and testing out a few things for what's coming up. But today on Cook Together, you can't smell it, but I actually have bacon cooking in the background, and you think, what? Nutritionist is cooking bacon in a cooking class? What, are you crazy? And this is especially for my friend Ryan, who says that my recipe is broken because he saw that I put in chicken and broccoli to a spaghetti carbonara. So yeah, we're gonna do things a little differently around here. And there's Ryan turning up. Thanks, buddy, for your input. So no, my recipe is not broken. It's just gonna be a little bit different. And as if I would make a recipe like carbonara and not add in vegetables, because anything that I cook is basically an opportunity to get vegetables in, but I do have the bacon cooking. So basically today I'm talking about a Sprout Right spaghetti carbonara. Just in case you haven't seen the cover of my book, here it is. And so this is on page 266. If you do not have this recipe, then know that you can go to sproutright.com/cook-together. And on that, we will send you the recipe of what I am making every single day on social media just before, I don't know, a few hours, but by noon, I normally put out all of the ingredients that you need for whatever we're making that day. So that you can kind of keep going along with me. So today we're going to make this really super fast carbonara. So I had my spaghetti pot boiling. I'll bring that back to the boil. My bacon is looking very fatty, but that's bacon. You can use ham for this. You can use, as I said, you could use chicken as a leftover. It kind of is just, I don't know, think of like a pizza with a white sauce on it, and you put put chicken in there instead of like pepperoni on it. So you're just really changing it up. And of course, like I said, I'm going to try and get some extra nutrients in there. So broccoli is one of my favorite things to add to this, because when you chop it up really quite small, it works really well. But I realized that the broccoli that I did have that I thought was okay, then yeah, that would have been a good idea. Ryan, what do you think? Pancetta, that's another really good one too. Really, so I think I realized the other day that I talk a lot about using up leftovers rather than just actually making a recipe from scratch and making sure that you have absolutely everything. But I also think that's because I'm just trying to be a little more aware of food waste. I did actually a whole podcast episode on food waste probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The podcast episode that just came out today is all about sleep, having a good sleep patterns, but not even that, like just how to get a good night's sleep and what's the difference between all the different situations, because as I explained in the podcast, I think everybody's in 3 different camps when it comes to sleep. You either have issues falling asleep, or you have issues staying asleep, or you wake up really early. So we've got all those situations going on. So yeah. So if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about, Logan is manning the laptop with the new tech going through, so you can give her a wave and say hey, or as Ryan's doing on Instagram, then you can just type in comments or quips. We might expect 1 or 2 coming through from Ryan, my good friend. And yeah, so let's check this in the background here. So my pasta. The recipe calls for 340 grams of pasta, which is, I don't know, I'm not sure where I got that from, but my package is 500 grams. I've got lovely tri-color today. Isn't that pretty? So this is definitely a favorite of my kids. Normally I would do a rice pasta, maybe a quinoa pasta to keep it gluten-free. but this is a wheat-based spaghetti, and with some vegetables in it, which is what the color is all about. So you can use whatever it is that you want, right? Pasta's pasta. You can use rice noodles if you want. I find they kind of fall apart when you're really tossing everything. But by all means, if you're really trying to keep this super, as free of everything as possible, then you can definitely do that. So I've got my large pot of water. I'm going to drop the pasta in. It's going to take it's actually only going to take 10 minutes, so we'll try and watch that timing. I'm going to ask Logan to keep that going. And I think that's it. All right, in goes my pasta. I so really don't make pasta that often, but if I'm going to, then this is definitely going to be what I'm gonna make, because it is such a quick meal to make. Okay, that bacon's cooking pretty slow, but what I would like to do is just cook these guys just a little bit. What's going on, Logan? Oh, she set the timer. Oh, thank you. Excellent. She's showing me a blank phone. I'm not quite sure what that's about. So I'm going to cook the green beans just a little bit, because raw green beans and a nice soft pasta don't go so well together, I don't think. So it is, what day is it today? I think it's Monday. How was your weekend? It was Mother's Day yesterday, so anyone watching who is a mom and you had a day yesterday, I had a lovely day. I was spoiled by my girls with some bacon in the morning, which is why I have bacon left over for the carbonara for today, and I thought, yes, let's just use the rest of the bacon for the carbonara. So I hope you had a lovely Mother's Day, if that's what you were up to this weekend. I think I find, there we go. Okay, so this is much more of a live action, making a whole dish kind of cooked together. I try and keep things fairly simple so that I don't have my back to you all the time. Okay, so next I've got the bacon going on. I've got this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I did. Did you guys see what I did with the broccoli the other day? I know you can't see my face, but I think you can still hear me. So what I did with the broccoli the other day was I just poured over top of the broccoli. That was when I was doing the salads. So I just poured boiling water on top of the broccoli in a bowl, and I just left it until everything went super bright green. And it's just a really fast way to kind of take the edge off. The bacon's taking too long to cook, so I don't want to wait for that. But with that going on, normally then if I could get rid of the fat, and again, it's just because of the live video, I want to kind of keep things flowing, so not be at the sink too much. Then I'm just gonna pour some boiling water on top of this. I'll throw it into a slightly larger bowl. A slightly bigger one of this, and then I'm just going to cover it, and then I can just strain this and throw this in. If you were doing this with broccoli, then it would also be tremendous. I was thinking of using peas for today. That's a really good one also to add into a carbonara, but I had the green beans, so I want to use I forgot that I had bought those, so I wanted to use those. So into my container, into my measuring cup here, this is actually some cream. Again, that I have that needs to be used up. Coconut milk. I've made this a million times with coconut milk. That was my first, the first way that I ever used it, because I was really trying hard not to use dairy in what I was doing. So I've got a quarter of a cup of some milk here. I'm going to, once we drain the pasta, pour the egg. I just have to make sure I get it. Pour the egg over the pasta and add the bacon and broccoli. Okay, so I'm going to put my egg yolks into here. Egg whites into another bowl. Like I said, it has been a while since I've made this recipe, so I gotta double check and make sure that I'm doing it all right. And also so that you know that even though I know my recipes and have made them for a long time, I don't remember all of them. How many recipes do we keep in our head at one time? Logan, have we got any hellos or anything coming through? Who's watching? It's Teresa made it on? No? Not seeing anything? No? I hope we're streaming through to the right place. Because sometimes technology just goes in the direction that it wants to go. Okay, so I've got, don't need the egg yolks. I've got the egg whites. Sorry, egg yolks in here. I don't need the egg whites. I've got this, which will just get poured onto the carbonara. I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in there. Ooh, the bacon's finally cooking because I turned it up. And hey Logan, you finished your schoolwork? Ryan's asking.
No.
She says, no. She had a list this morning to do all of her homework, and then I had to ask them to take Lexi out and go and get me some pecorino cheese because we needed that for today. It's not quite the same without, and I thought, well, I can just use some cheddar, which you probably could, but there's something about the harder cheeses of Parmesan or the pecorino that just, I don't know, kind of jazzes it up. I don't have any capers, but my recipe does call for capers, and I find that they give a really nice saltiness to it, so it sort of changes up the taste. Now I'm just taking a handful here to throw it all in. I'm going to put this. Somebody really liked this trick the other day of rather than kind of steaming or anything, then just doing this and then leaving them. I'll show them back to you after so that you can see what that's all about. Yes, Logan?
Teresa said hi all, and Valerie said I'm looking forward to enjoying this recipe too.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm glad that, thank you for affirming that it's all working, because trying to use different technology is a bit tricky. Yeah, Ryan, what, you're not down with the you're not down with the cheddar? No, it's only if you don't have anything else. I'm trying to give everybody options because sometimes you just don't have this stuff, and I'm very aware that going to the supermarket is a whole other story these days. So there's that too. Yes, Logan?
Teresa said had a hard time signing in, kept just showing your cutting board. What are you making? I didn't get the recipe today.
Oh, really? You didn't get the recipe today? I'm sorry, Teresa. Normally it comes through by now, doesn't it? Okay, so today I'm making Sprout Right spaghetti carbonara, which so far, to catch you up, Teresa, I've got the pasta, 340 grams of pasta boiling in the pot. I've got some bacon. Yes, the nutritionist has bacon going on in the frying pan, which actually I'm going to take out and put into another bowl because I just need to. Otherwise, they're just going to be way too crispy. So, I was saying that we have some bacon left over from my breakfast in bed yesterday. Let's just take that off. Oops, wrong one. Oh, live videos. I'm going to fry my olives. Okay, so just take this bacon out because that's just going to get thrown back in again. And my beans, I've got some green beans instead of broccoli for this recipe, and even though some who shall remain nameless, wink wink, doesn't think that broccoli should be a part of a carbonara, but obviously I'm gonna say yes because that's my thing, adding vegetables to as much as possible. So I'm gonna grate that in a minute. And so, Teresa, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure why you didn't get your recipe today, but if you do have my book, know that the recipe is on page 266. And if you don't have my book and you want my book, anybody, then of course you can go to sproutright.com, you can go to Indigo Chapters, you can go to amazon.com.ca, anywhere. Any of the Amazons do have my book. Sometimes it just takes a little longer if you're not in Canada and the US, in North America. And there we go. Let's put these guys off to the side. So this is all going to get thrown in. So the trick that I have found to carbonara is to keep the pasta water. That's really, really important. Let me grate some cheese while I'm talking again. So we were trying to sort out the tech, which is why we're a little behind on the prepped front, but it doesn't matter because you get to see exactly what I'm doing. Hello, Sage. Lovely to see that you're here. Yes, and Valerie, this will be a really, really good one for you. If you wanted to do this like cow dairy free, then know that you can, the pecorino cheese, did you know, is sheep's cheese. So it's much easier on a lot of bellies, on skin, on all sorts of things for people who are more sensitive to dairy. So I needed 1/3 of a cup of this. I think I need a little bit more. And how much longer do we have for the pasta, please, Logan? Because ideally, once you put the pasta in, you know that you have 10 minutes to get everything else prepped, which is kind of, 1 more minute, which is kind of where I'm at. So at about 10 minutes, that's her timer. So at about 10 minutes, then we're good to go. So what I'm gonna do is very quickly strain, the green beans. Yeah, they're pretty good. So I'm gonna strain the green beans, if I could find a strainer. Apparently, oh, there we go. I got it out already. So into the strainer go the green beans, which are now really nice and brightly colored. So they're not gonna be quite so crispy. I've done this with carrots as well, do that all the time. Okay, so I have my colander ready to go, and I'm going to put a bowl underneath it because you must capture the pasta water. This is really super important, and in the times that I have not done this, it does not go well, it does not reheat well, and yeah, it's just important to have your pasta water. So our timer's gone off. Turn that off, and in is going to go my pasta. And my bowl underneath is going to capture the pasta water. Now, you don't need like the whole amount of it. Like I have a massive bowl here, which I don't really need. I'm gonna try and get it out of the sink for you without burning myself. Okay, I'm back. So I've tipped out a whole bunch of this. So colander, pasta water, presto. So this, as well as a lovely facial, is what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to throw this back into the saucepan to keep it hot, to keep everything warm. I hope you can almost see that off camera. So pour that all back in again. I'm going to keep this off to the side. Put this in front. And into this, I'm gonna get my tongs to toss. What did you say, Rosen? Scoop a cup of the pasta water out before. Oh, that might be a lot easier. Yes, see, this is why the community has to chime in. Taking out the pasta water first, brilliant. Well done, Ryan. Okay, so into my pasta, which is fairly warm. Then I'm going to put in the egg mixture over the pasta and toss. You can do this with 2 forks or with tongs. So in that goes, and then toss. Now right now, let's see if I can show you. Right now this is really very liquidy, watery. It's very steamy around here, and which is great. And then so now that I've tossed that, now I'm gonna put in my green beans. I may not put in all my green beans, just don't want to overwhelm too much. I may not put all my bacon in. I know that there are going to be 2 people at the dinner table that are going to say, Mom, why did you not put all the bacon in? And the cheese. And then all of that's in there looking lovely and beautiful. I've got my parsley, I've got my olives. All this is going in too. Give it a quick toss. And at this point is when the cheese starts to melt and things can start to get a little on the dry side, or depending on how fast you're going to serve this will depend on whether you need to add in that pasta water. So if we did not eat all of this tonight, then what we would do is save it for tomorrow, but I would absolutely save the pasta water, because as we are heating it up, then I would add more pasta water just to loosen everything up loosen everything up again. And a nice bowl here. Make sure that everything is tossed really well. The bacon loves anything heavy, all the beans and everything like that are on the bottom. I still actually have a really big clump of cheese, but that is the carbonara. Super quick, super fast dinner. Get a few green beans going on here and a little bit more bacon, and we are good to go. So by the time I get to serve the last person, it's still going to move quite well. If you use coconut milk instead of cream, I have never really found there to be a big difference, but I still keep the pasta water. I keep thinking about what Ryan suggested. Take a mugful or a spoonful out first. Just genius. Sometimes you just get it a little bit too much in your own head. So look at that. Look how pretty. And all their color is on there too. My thing likes to scream at me. There we go. That's it. What do you think, Teresa? What do you think, Valerie? Ryan, did I pass muster? Cracked pepper. Yes, I already put pepper into here as well, just so you know. But yes, of course, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And I don't get too many complaints from my kids, but if you want to put salt on it, then you can do that too. You find that the pecorino cheese is quite salty, and also I've got the olives in there. If you had capers in there too, then that would also add to the kind of salt and the taste and the flavor. For that, hey Crystal. So that's your carbonara. Really super quick one tonight. So yes, Logan.
Teresa says it looks amazing.
Yeah, super quick, and there's vegetables. So like I said, anything can go in here. I don't know if I'd put anything orange like a sweet potato. I think that would probably be a little bit weird, but definitely peas. Mushrooms. How about mushrooms? That would be really good too. Mushroom and bacon, that's always a winning combo. Thank you, Ryan. Looks delish. Awesome. So this is going to be our super fast dinner tonight. And actually, this is something that my kids would take to school in a thermos the next day. And that's, again, when the pasta water comes in handy. Because anytime that you are reheating it again, then you got to add some of that pasta water just to help make it not be like super dry and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's a winner. Winner, winner, carbonara dinner. And oh, even with my beans, it looks delish. Thanks, Ryan. Shame you're not here to enjoy this with. Can't wait to see you guys. Boy, oh boy, this thing is carrying on, isn't it? That we can't see anybody. So, oh, Logan has another comment.
Teresa says, I have never used coconut milk. The coconut taste is strong. What about the smell of coconuts?
What about the smell of coconuts? I don't find it from the coconut milk. I don't find it as strong as like a coconut oil. So if you don't like the flavor of coconut, then you're gonna have a little bit of it in a coconut milk. But I find the strongest flavor, I think, is from an unrefined coconut oil. So if you don't like the flavor or the smell of coconut oil, different to the milk, then make sure you buy refined coconut oil, because the smell and the flavor is gone from it and it's just fairly neutral. But I think it probably depends on the brand that you buy of the coconut milk. And it's 1/4 cup. So it's not, I don't think it's going to end up being overwhelming. And depending on what else you add in to it, like the bacon is going to come out quite a bit. That's also really salty too. The olives, depending on what you're going to put in there, you may not notice it so much because it's not a ton of, it's not a lot of liquid for sure. Pine nuts, excellent. Good idea, Ryan. I just need you to be on all the lives now at 5, please, just to add in your culinary wizardry. I'll take care of the healthy stuff, and then everybody else can chime in with all the extras. I might decide, Ryan says pine nuts, I might decide to put sunflower seeds. Pumpkin seeds, maybe a bit of a stretch, but it just depends on what kind of pasta you're using. With a traditional pasta, you might think, oh, I'm going to stick to something kind of normal. If you have some other rice type pasta, then you can kind of go in all sorts of different directions. So really, this is just another base recipe. I say that about a lot of the recipes that are in my book, is that This is just where you're going to start. And as you've heard me say, over the past, I think it's like 40 videos I've done since we've been in isolation, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. In case you're just new to my videos, then you'll soon learn that I try and put in vegetables, not only in the burgers that we made, but there were vegetables in, what else, Logan, do I shove vegetables into? Like lasagna. I haven't made that yet. I haven't figured out how to do that on a live camera. We might have to do the lasagna in 2 steps. One day make the sauce, and then the next day make the lasagna, because otherwise that's going to be pretty epic to try and keep everything on camera for you guys. Oh, and speaking of camera, then I was scheduled to be on breakfast television tomorrow morning, but they've put me off for a week. So if you were going to tune in to Ryan's just said, what am I going to pair it with? Oh my gosh, I'm not really sure. Tea, maybe? I know, no. I don't know. I haven't got any wine open right now, and I really have not been drinking much at all during this whole period. Okay, I see Logan's hands up. Just a second. I'm going to finish off about breakfast television. So instead, next week I'm going to be on CHCH Morning Live, which is a local Hamilton station, but goes out all over. I think even all over Ontario. And also on breakfast television on Tuesday morning, and that will be to talk about everything that I've been talking about with kids at home. How is their behavior? How's their attention? How's their focus? How's their sleep? How are they eating? And for you parents who are trying to figure this homeschooling and feed you and give you the 100th snack of the day, then also know that I'm going to go through a lot of those things. And also, I was talking with someone and I thought, what would be really useful, I think, for a lot of parents is to figure out, like, what is going to make a difference to my kids' behavior, to their sleep, to their mood, to all of these issues that you may be seeing because they've been at home for such a long time. Then the snack guide, the 21 snacks that you can get from sproutright.com/focus, please go and download that if you have not already. Then I'm going to talk a lot more about that and loads of other stuff on CHCH on Monday, breakfast television on Tuesday, and also tomorrow night I'm going to do a little workshop on Sprout Right's Facebook page to hear what you guys like. What is it, you parents? What help do you need? I've heard so much of I need fast meals. I need fast ideas that the whole family can have. Hey presto, carbonara. So I'll be live at 7:00 Eastern on Tuesday in the evening. Yes, Logan.
Teresa said, thanks. By the way, I loved your boiling water trick. I used it on asparagus this past weekend, and it's perfect.
Oh, good. So you put asparagus. Yes, asparagus. In season asparagus on this. Oh, Ryan, you didn't think of that one. Asparagus on this would be tremendous. Logan's like, no more asparagus, please. But yes, putting your vegetables into a bowl, pouring over boiling water is, I don't know, I think I might have started that when they were much younger, and I would just shove frozen bits of food or vegetables into a mug or something like this, and then pour it with boiling water just to defrost it really quick, or just take the edge off if it was super cold. So it just means you don't have one more saucepan on the stove, or it's just easy to keep off to the side, and it just takes the edge off. So a lot of people don't necessarily love raw broccoli, so it's the perfect way just to keep it nice and bright green. It gives it a bit more crunch. It's still got lots of antioxidants, lots of calcium, all the minerals that are in there as well. So it's sort of a nice balance. Ryan, what's easy for the kids to make for you? This is easy. This is easy for the kids to make. You might need to be involved in the boiling of water, but also my daughter Hadley has 2 videos are up now, I think, for the protein muffins. That's on YouTube, Sprout Right's YouTube channel. Hadley being absolutely hilarious making the muffins. The blender pancakes was the first one that she did, and just get your kids to watch it because she goofs up big time in both of them. So it really helps the intimidation level on what they may or may not think that they can do. So when they're watching her and a couple of things go fairly wrong, and she recovers from it while on video, then it's a really great one for kids to watch and get ideas and inspiration, thinking, well, if she messed up that bad, then I think I can do this too. So lots of inspiration for your two gorgeous boys, Ryan. So that's definitely, and they'll just get a really good giggle. Everybody who has watched the video of Hadley with the muffins has had some really great feedback for us, and with lots of laughing emoji faces. So that'll get you watching it. I still have one more. I've been saying this for 2 weeks. I still have one more Rice crisp squares for them, for that Hadley's put together. I just have to edit it a little bit, and as usual, she's laughing her head off, saying, "Mom, do I have to do this? You're gonna edit this bit out, right?" And I don't edit it out at all. I leave it there because it's hilarious. So it just makes eating together so much more fun, or cooking together so much more fun, which is why I started doing this Cook Together, because I really hope this keeps you motivated, it keeps you inspired, and trying out different recipes that you may not have thought of. Like, I totally forgot about this carbonara recipe and thought, oh, we've got bacon, so why don't I make some carbonara? That's honestly the thought process that I had going on. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm doing this. So know that tomorrow evening I will be doing a live still at 5 tomorrow, but tomorrow evening, for you parents who need some help with whatever's going on with your kids while you're all under the same roof all the time, then know that I'll be back on Sprout Right's Facebook group, or Facebook page, I should say, at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And tomorrow evening, we're going to try out a little bit more tech stuff with like my really big digital SLR camera, and see if we can get that working and happening. So the view is going to get a little bit different, but mainly if you're on Facebook, not if you're on Instagram. That will stay the same. So thanks so much for being along. If you've got any questions, let me know. Go to sproutright.com/cook together to make sure that you're registered and signed up to get the daily emails of the recipes. All of them, of course, are in my book. My book's available from Amazon, Indigo, and sproutright.com. And if you want that download of 21 snack ideas for your kids, then go to sproutright.com/focus. All right, I will see you all tomorrow, and at 5 for the Cook Together, and then again at 7 for a little workshop on Let's Talk About Your Kids. All right, thanks so much for being along, and bon appetit, depending on whether you make this tonight or whenever you do. Take care.